Hey everybody, good afternoon, 1:25. Sorry for being late. I was having connectivity issues and issues with the pre-planning of the show. But looks like it's going good. Just so you guys know, the new Supra, 2020 Supra, I think it's GR is the model they're going by. There's been a recall for bad welds. BMW is recalling some of them. By the way, it might be news to some of you. BMW is recalling the Toyotas because they're a partnership with the Supra, the new Supra, and the ZX4 or the Z4. Sorry. Yeah, Toyota hit up BMW because they had a current inline six. I forget what it is. I feel like it's about a 3 liter, 2.8 liter inline six. I can't quite remember right now. It's evading me a little bit. Nonetheless, BMW had that. They had a chassis, and Toyota spent their time developing suspension geometry and brakes and stuff like that to make that car feel good. Then they release it with what they call 335 horsepower, and on every dyno I've seen straight factory, no changes, it's putting down about 350 horsepower at the wheels. So yeah, that's just a little bit of that. I remembered I have a CD playing in the background. 1 second. I don't want to surprise anyone by flipping up my volume on CDs and having some rock and roll blasting in the background is CIFA. So thanks for joining me on the lives. Any topics you guys want to talk about? Nothing is touché, or touche pas, I guess. So just let me know. I gotta look into the petition thing too. I'll go to my own feed. It's getting to be a little far down there. I'm gonna have to reshare it. Petition. Oh, that was neat. Caught me right in the feels. Samsung has released technology on their phones for blind and deaf people that basically is like a Morse code style language that you tap the phone. Actually, Jolene just logged in and I think I saw it on that Jolene shared it. The commercial is crazy. It's an emotional roller coaster, I'll say it that way. Nonetheless, they've developed that technology and now they can tap in a message that's turned to text and sent to people, and they can receive the responses from people that are vibrations that go through the fingers, and they can understand what's being said to them. And again, developed for blind and deaf people all around the world. It's a heck of a tearjerker. If you haven't looked at it, I shared it on my Facebook. So did Jolene, actually. So go check that out. Just checking out right now to see where my petition has gotten. I've pretty much hitting a stalemate at, it looks like stalemate, stalled. Anyway, 943 supporters, and I would say stay there. No more supporters for now, because it seems like change.org might actually be farming signatures and email addresses, because I didn't get any of them when I click on the people who support. So either way, I gotta be in touch with some people and get that out there. Nonetheless, I just need the freaking time. I'm waiting on hydraulic repair. Yeah. Well, this is good news. Scientists conclude there's no need to eat less red or processed meats. Yay! That's by the Chronicle Herald. Yay! I feel like I can trust the Chronicle Herald. So sharing that little tidbit of information, I'm on again in half a minute. So you'll have to excuse me. I'm going to read off a little bit for my followers here on CIFA. And I'll be right back. C'est 1h31, vous êtes ici dans Tous Chat avec Jay Hubbard, à Voix'd Par-en-Bas. Faites relire les annonces communautaires pour faire sûr que tout le monde est au courant de ce qui se passe. Vous pouvez maintenant acheter des tickets de bingo pour Radio CIFA chez Dell's Home Hardware à Pamlico et tout pour 7 pièces le bundle. Le bingo, c'est tous les vendredis soirs à 6h. N'oubliez pas de payer pour vos billets de 50-50 pour le transport de Claire. Le tirage, c'est tous les vendredis à 1h de l'après-midi. Il sera avec 2 pièces de morceau. Et si le billet gagnant n'est pas payé pour, personne ne gagne. Pour d'autres informations là-dessus, vous pourrez rejoindre le transport de Claire au 902-769-2333. Je voulais dire félicitations à Sharon Boucher qui a gagné le gift certificate pour un échange de ville gratuit chez Tuscan Ford en jouant mon jeu Quel auto est-il? Et grand merci à tout le monde pour jouer mon concours de la semaine passée. Aussi, n'oubliez pas d'aller checker out mon concours sur la page Facebook à Radio CIFA et le partager. Le partage aussi sur mon page Facebook Jay Hubbard. Là-dessus, je regarde pour les bonnes réponses aux questions sur l'année, la marque et le modèle de voiture dans le portrait que j'ai soumis. Vous aurez la chance à gagner 35 pièces contre un échange de huile à l'Altamar à Guy ici dans Tous Chat. Et ça, c'est tout pour Aster. Maintenant, William Delordier et Moto dans la peau. All right. What's up, Chris? Carlton? How you doing, guys? Anything you want to hear about on a Facebook Live? Well, I'm spooling in some songs here. I'm missing by 2 minutes, so I'm going to grab one of my 2-minute tunes. Excuse me. 2 minutes. What's 2 minutes long? I got nothing exactly 2 minutes long, so I'm going to do this. Here we go. So, overtime by what? $43 seconds. That's not bad. Maybe I can chuck in a 3-minute song and delete another one. 3 minutes. Jouer la pomme. Yep, that's what I'm doing. Boom. Get rid of that guy. Cool beans. 45 and 3 seconds. Song 2, exactly 2 minutes. Blur, song 2. Oh well. It's that I know of. I'm gonna search it. Song 2. Search. Nope. Ron Hines. Man of 1,000 something. And whatever this is. Goldie. That's all that comes up. My bad. I'm gonna have to look for song 2 and get that into my next request. How do you remember this crazy stuff, Christian Anthony? Just in case you're wondering why I was drinking from a coffee cup, but chewing. Starting to feel a little worn out. So there was no coffee made, but there were coffee grinds, and I just got some of those. I don't know, chew them down. Tastes like different. But it's no different than buying chocolate covered coffee beans minus the chocolate. So yeah, whatever. For some reason this 1 o'clock segment is screwed. Let's see what the 2 o'clock is saying. Yeah, so far so good. What the heck, yo? Okay. It's all screwy. Try that, too. Let's see what 3 o'clock is saying. Sorry, guys. Just checking stuff out. Weirdness, man. I don't know what's up with the programming right now. My stuff's all screwy. I got a station ID. There we go. I'm gonna throw this in here. Whoa. Okay. That's crazy. Todd, what's up? I noticed Ella Gorst, would be David and Karen Gorst's daughter, did a station ID. It played yesterday while my show was going, so whenever I'm missing a station ID, which is so c'est CIFA 104,1 FM, le son du Sud-Ouest. When they're throwing that out there, might as well make it people I know. So I threw Ella's in, put in a stop for 1/4 to the hour to let people know that I've got what's coming still for the next hour, weather and stuff, other things. And then I still have some songs to throw in, so it's kind of screwed up. Don't know what's up. Right now it's Simon LeBlanc and Andre Surette. Cool tune they've got about playing ball. They tease the LeBlancs for being slow like molasses. The Jacquards look like they're coming from hunting. The Boudreaux play all winter in Mexico. Stuff like that in the song. I know later on in the song there's a shout out to Danny Hubly. Hey Jennifer. Yeah, there's a shout out to Danny Hubly later in the song. Because they wouldn't know what the score was if he wasn't around, and that couldn't be more true. Danny will be sitting in the stands and somebody will be, what's the score? And he'll yell it out anytime. Always remembers. I don't know how he does it, but just does. I remember that when I was a kid playing ball. He's basically naming off all the families in Wedgeport. Yeah. Check out what I've got coming up. One Nacional. There's a lot of National Month stuff. But I'm only going to announce that at the start of each month. Hi Melissa, nice to see you again. It's National CBD Month for your pets. What is that? Free Trade Month. Information Technology Month. Family History Month. Fire Prevention Month. Canadian Libraries. Mental Health. Pizza. Take action against SUDEP. SUDEP. Which is the sudden death of people that have epilepsy. And the death has no other reason except for epilepsy, that they can. Also, Awareness Month for ADHD, emotional intelligence, breast cancer, dyslexia, black cats, and cybersecurity. A lot of things happening for October. I'm on in about 5 minutes. I'm just going to look over my notes in that case. So I can read this off to you. Hey Joyce, nice to see you again. This is an idea I had, and it first struck me a little bit after watching Bird Box with Sandra Bullock. And if you're not aware, spoiler alert, plug your ears and I'll wave my hands at you when it's time to listen again. But in Bird Box, the people affected by whatever it is that's on the show, as soon as they see it, they decide to kill themselves. They just... What's up, Trevor? So, yep, spoiler alert, they will kill themselves in that movie, and I'll wave my hands when it's ready to go. And I started wondering if evolution is the only thing that's gotten us to this point, this point in time. How is it that all the people that have killed themselves haven't gotten rid of that gene or that propensity for so doing? So I blame it on ego, basically. It must be considered that ego could be the only differing factor. I'll just hold this like here. Then it sort of looks like I'm looking at you. It must be considered that ego could be the only differing factor that causes deceit, thievery, lies, murder, hate, self-deprecation, greed, and any other negative aspect of humanity that is used for anything other than survival. Even the most evil amongst our animal species, for example, when judged through a lens that's focused on the absolute survival of the fittest, even if you have to murder to do so, doesn't point to an ego in our animals. For example, abject siblicide, for example, happens because the surroundings do not allow for 2 offspring or more to survive. But logistically speaking, with the law of averages, or statistically, only birthing 1 offspring may at times leave parents with no viable offspring. In such a case, mama has multiple babes, and the babes have to fight to the death to ensure that only the strongest survive. In hyenas, for example, this principle even applies across multiple litters, and a far older sibling will attack a newborn. If the newborn kills its predecessor, it's obviously the strongest, and that strength is bred into each remaining bloodline. I think the reason we keep pets, but most especially dogs, is to give us some indisputable truths about what egoless existence looks like. As long as you have removed survival from the equation, a dog never acts with ill intent. So much so, if you take an existential threat for a dog or its adopted family into the equation, I would postulate that all attacks would be accounted for. The only remaining anomaly is chemical imbalances caused by things like rabies or cancerous tumors in the brain. Cats seem to be one of few animals that will kill for fun, quote unquote, but even then I think they do so to remain sharp, to ensure they are always at the peak of their game. Again, this is a check to ensure their survival. So that's an excerpt from my journal, basically. What I think maybe is causing explanations on ego or egotism. I feel like the ego, which I've described before as basically being the part of your brain that governs your everyday life, your senses, that keeps you alive and uses what it knows basically to help you either have the fight or flight response to a threat. It's all governed ultimately by the ego. I'm just checking. I'll be on again in just a couple seconds here, so you'll have to excuse me. C'est 1h47, vous êtes ici en touche-tête avec Jay Hubbard de Voix'd Par-en-Bas. Ella Gorst, que vous venez d'entendre, ça c'est la petite fille à mes amis Karen et David Gorst. So bonjour tout le monde là. Bon t'attendre, Ella, c'est kind of cool. C'est le premier station ID de Chedzone que je connais, autre que des vieux maîtres d'école et du stuff de même. Quand même, pour aujourd'hui, je vais commencer tous les mois là, à la commencement des mois, je vais faire les mois nationaux. Je vais séparer les mois nationaux, de même je le lis point tous les jours et puis d'ennuyer là-dessus. So, aujourd'hui, octobre, c'est le mois national de CBD pour des animaux de compagnie, c'est-à-dire pour des pets. Et CBD, c'est l'huile qui sort du cannabis. C'est aussi le mois national du commerce équitable, free trade. Le mois national d'apprentissage d'informatique ou sur ordinateur. Le mois national de histoire de famille. C'est aussi le mois national de prévention du feu, de bibliothèque canadienne, de santé mentale et de pizza. Et le mois national de prendre action contre le SUDEP. Le SUDEP, SUDEP, c'est le mort soudain avec la seule raison d'être l'épilepsie. Ce mois-ci, c'est aussi le mois national prise de conscience ou awareness de le TDAH ou ADHD, l'intelligence émotionnelle, le cancer du sein, la dyslexie, les chats noirs, pour prendre conscience contre la superstition émise aux chats noirs. Et puis, c'est le mois national de prise de conscience au cybersecurity. Aster Serge Nancy, je n'ai pas changé. Four, 5, 6, 56, 51, 62, 57, 02, 20, 722. 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Sorry about that, guys. Just finding a tune that lasts 2 minutes and 40 seconds. There's one. And that might do it. 57, 8, 9, 40. Yep, that's just a few seconds short. Mon Grand-Père by Eric Surratt. Throw that in there too. So yeah, ego. I had already commented on at the start there, if you weren't tuned in, where I got a theory from after watching Bird Box by Sandra Bullock and seeing people, spoiler alert, seeing people commit suicide on Bird Box basically, and thought, well, why is it, if the only guiding factor basically that's led us to where we are is evolution, why is it that all the people that have done that have committed that act, haven't removed their bloodline sufficiently enough that it doesn't happen anymore? It makes you think, okay, there must be some other guiding factor. So ego being what it is, it's basically concerned with keeping your I see a heart, but I don't see who put it. Oh, thank you. It makes you wonder what it is that's causing that to get worse and worse versus just disappearing. You'd think eventually it would disappear, I would have thought. So that being said, as I described a little bit, ego is what I would consider the part of your mind that guides your senses, that guides you through your daily existence, that examines your self-worth and things like that. And I think that a lot of evil is rooted in ego. Things like, I'll go back to my notes here because I kind of contemplated it heavier there. Deceit, thievery, lies, murder, hate, self-deprecation, greed, and any other negative aspect of humanity that's used for anything other than survival. So those things, I think, are all rooted in ego. Thievery, greed, hate, self-deprecation, or you tear yourself apart if you do something stupid or miss a word or misspeak. Those are all forces of the ego. And if the ego is able to do something like that, it makes you wonder if it feels existential threat. So if something's coming up in your life that's making your ego think, I might lose control over this meat vessel if they do certain things, then do they start throwing in negative self-worth? And it's such a hard topic to breach. I just can't make sense of it. So let's assume if all those bad things are rooted in evil, that it's a demonic presence, that it's what they would call a devil. So assuming that if there's good and bad to everything, then if there's a devil, there must be good. So if an ego is threatened to the extent that it thinks, this doesn't sound like this person's going to go to hell anymore. There's a chance that they're going to be saved, quote unquote. And that, by the way, is by different means than what all the religions are preaching to you. I think that there's natural means to do that without religion involved at all. If you're curious about that, check my podcast out yesterday or tomorrow, or days prior, sorry. So perhaps it is, if ego is the root of all evil, if it's things like thievery and greed and self-deprecation and hate and all those negative things are rooted in the ego, then that potentially is a domain of the devil. And so if there's a domain of the devil and the ego feels threatened, maybe it tries to kill you so it has a chance to live again. Start from scratch, because you're born and you've got a 50-50 chance at that point for either being a soul that the devil gets to have, or a soul that God gets to have, or the spirit gets to have. So that was the theory, and it's woo-hooey as all get out. But that's still a theory, I guess. That maybe once there starts to be threat, that you're actually learning the truth of what real spirituality is by connecting to the creator, so to speak. That an ego interjects and causes self-deprecation or hate or greed or anything that can be destructive, self-destructive, especially. Why else would things like suicide still remain prevalent if evolution is the only means that got us to where we are? It's situational for sure, but why has that situation gotten so bad that it's worse? I just read Audrey's comment. She's like, "Hi Jay, how's it going? Devils on earth, each and every one of us, LOL." Well, I respond to that in such a manner. The devil is in every one of us. And no, we're not all evil and willing to kill until the right thing comes along. So in my case, I don't even want to say it because it's so bad. If someone was to perpetrate something evil to my children, I'm pretty sure I'd beat them to death. And yeah, that might just be my ego talking all big and tough. I don't know, but that's how I feel, because stuff like that's happened to me in the past. And I don't ever want my kids to go through the mental hell that I've had to go through. So, and if you're worried about that, no, it doesn't affect me anymore. I'm over that. I've yet to forgive the person that perpetrated it against me, but that's my own battle. One of the things that I do kind of say is demons are prevalent all around. By demons, for me, I love being on stage, I love singing and stuff like that. My demons are overcoming that negative self-doubt. As soon as I get on stage, there's a part of my brain that's going, well, who do you think you are singing for these people? You're not good enough to do this. And that'll just root back and forth. It just ruminates in my mind over and over and over again. So much so that if somebody after the fact comes and says, hey, good job, they might have gone out of their way to do that and felt honestly or in earnest about it. They come and say, hey, good job. And to me, that's the equivalent of when I've heard somebody do not that great a job, and I say to them, hey, good job. So I'm like, yeah, they're just placating me. It wasn't really good. And that happens sometimes. Like, you don't want to hurt somebody's feeling and be like, dude, you're out of tune, or your pitch is crap. So I'm always fighting that demon, and I think at one point or another, most of us have had that sort of demon. Demon's not a little evil gargoyle-looking creature that comes around and eats your soul. He eats you from the inside. It's just, we have to use words that make sense to us to describe things to everybody. And that's the same for every religion. They've taken what their culture knows, what their language allows, and they describe what they see as a god or a spirit, or to me it's all the same thing. Some of the schools of thought that I've listened to lately talk about God basically being energy right from the start, and that it's a vibration or an energy that's a high frequency. It's something that makes you feel love and mercy and joy just by being in its presence. But those are just words to describe something that they call it's ineffable. It's not something you can describe with words or language or anything else. I'm going to be back in just a second. Hello. So I have the weather to do on the radio here. So just going to refresh that, make sure it's up to date. And I'll be back in 30 seconds or so. Comment ça va?
Good, good.
Sécurement désir, ces conditions actuelles ont été enregistrées à l'aéroport de Yarmouth à 1h après-midi. C'est 12 degrés Celsius, généralement nuageux, pression barométrique de 102.4 1 kPa avec une tendance qui baisse. Humidité de 64%, vent de sud-ouest 10 km/h avec une visibilité de 24 km. Les prévisions étaient émises à 11 h matin. Aujourd'hui, ça donne généralement nuageux, vent de vent sud 20 km/h cet après-midi, sauf rafale à 40 dans certains secteurs le long de la côte. Tard cet après-midi, maximum de 14, indice UV de 4 ou modéré. Ce soir et cette nuit, nuageux, pluie intermittente débutant ce soir, risque de tonnerre et d'éclairs au cours de la nuit, nappe de brouillard ou de brume qui se formera au minuit, hauteur prévue de 5 à 10 mm, sauf 20 mm dans les plus fortes showers, vent du sud-ouest, 20 km/h, sauf rafale à 40 dans certains secteurs le long de la côte, minimum de 10, température à la hausse pour atteindre 16 au cours de la nuit. Pour demain, ça donne pluie intermittente, c'est sur le matin. Et pour demain, passage nuageux, minimum plus 5. Jeudi, ça donne beau soleil, maximum de 11. Et la nuit, nuageux, minimum de 8. That's it. T'as eu du truc à rajouter?
Ouais. C'est dit quoi? I wonder, que moi je l'ai fait mal. As-tu de misère à te brancher ton aujourd'hui?
Why did you? La board at the on cost of new. Just so you guys know, it's to shoot Facebook Live. I'm just going to log off for a second. I got a visitor there and I just wanted to chat about it. I'll be back soon.